Welcome back to another archive dive. This is part 3, where we left off last time. We had just spun this wheel. Oh, hey, we've got a 2023. Okay, cool. So this one is Death Valley National Park Send. So let's flip the camera around and jump right into it. We are back in 2023 in April, and this was actually one of the last trips, big trips that I took. I think it was the last big trip I took with Derek. And actually before this trip, I built out the back of my car. I tried to go through this fun design process of what it would take to sleep 2 people comfortably for this road trip. And I was also thinking a little bit farther ahead in the future too of how to work out of this thing. So we were already planning on moving back to Seattle at this point, and I wanted to take more trips. So decided to build this out, and there was a little counter in there. It's supposed to be a little bench area. Like I said, this ended up being one of the last trips I took. My back ended up going out shortly after we moved. I think it was the week after, and that was a really long recovery process. And to be honest, I'm still kind of in that recovery process of when it went out. Yeah, it's been a really long time. Anyway, don't want to fully reminisce on all of that. Let's jump back into it. We started out at the Oregon coast and went to some really great spots all along the coast. And then we drove down to California. This is the Death Valley National Park Send, so that was the main destination. But we did check out a lot of spots around 395, Highway 395, and loop our way back up. I actually don't know how I'm going to be able to pick just 3 photos out of this. I'm looking at this and it is 3,800 photos. So there's a lot. I could probably talk all day about all these different areas because this was a multi-day trip. I've got 2 ideas. Actually, both of them involve spinning another wheel. One is going to be just breaking it up into days, and then we'll just spin a wheel, figure out which day we're going to talk about. Or maybe we just spin a wheel with 1 through 3799, and we just spin it 3 times, and we find 3 photos to choose from. Let's put another wheel together. We've got the wheel pulled up now. I think there has to be a faster way than typing these in one by one. Maybe a wheel isn't the best way to go about this. There's got to be just a random number generator maybe. Doing 1, the max is 3799. Generate 3487. It's not a terrible photo. Of the photos around it, I probably wouldn't pick this one, but I don't know. Maybe this is a nice challenge. 213. What is 213? Nice. Okay, so we got a cool picture of Derek. Yeah, let's keep it. This can go hard. 762. Okay, we've got another photo of Derek, which I think is too many for this little collection of 3. What do we want to do? I think how we're going to do this now is that helped us get in the vicinity, and then we'll just pick a photo from there. This was one of the last days of the trip. We're getting close to the end of the trip. We're in the Columbia River Gorge, and on the last leg, coming all the way back up from California, we hit up our buddy Alex because we were swinging through Portland, and yep, there he is. And yeah, he also made an appearance earlier on the series. And then we did a couple of the hikes into the waterfalls along the gorge. This one in particular, it's a nice hike to this waterfall, and it's definitely worth the hike going to it. So let's actually make 2 selections. We'll do 1 with a person, and we'll do 1 mostly just landscape. This photo is actually kind of cool. I like the motion blur on it at 1/13 of a second. Okay, funnily enough, the photo that we spun randomly, I actually really like it. It's got some nice depth of field to it. The pool of water, the color of the water is great. The color of the walls, the rock walls around the waterfall are amazing. Okay, so we're getting some photos that I really enjoy. What did I have on? Had a 16 to 35 millimeter on, and was shooting at a slower speed to try to get some motion in the water. What is going on with my computer? I'm really getting drawn to these photos. I keep getting pulled back to these, and then I scroll a little bit more, and the really tiny scale model pop here too is kind of neat as well. Actually, this one too is really nice. I like how this tree up above is, kind of just imposing on the waterfall. It adds a little bit more uniqueness to it, I feel like. Or do we go a different route? We don't fully center the subject on this, but we kind of place it off to the side and just like add another element to this waterfall photo. I actually kind of like that idea. You know, these are some really great photos. I've already edited them before, a couple of them, so I think we'll pass on that. I think just to do something new, let's do this photo because there's some nice mist at the bottom of the fall, so let's go ahead and add 5 stars to that one. Okay, let's go back to one of the other random days that we spun. Now we're back on the Oregon coast, and I believe this was day 2 of the trip. Wait, nope, I think I'm wrong. Yeah, day 3 of the trip. Yeah, of course, this is one of the really popular spots along the highway. This was my second time here, and I was kind of showing him around on some of the trails. The first time I was here, had no idea where I was going, so I took all the trails, put in a lot of steps to try to get the views that I wanted. But at this part of the trip with Derek, I knew pretty much where we wanted to be. Let's do the same thing here. Let's find a photo with a person in it for a bit of scale, and then let's get a landscape photo too. Is this one of the photos? It's really close to the one that we randomly spun. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of really like this pose. It's a really natural reaction of seeing a place like this for the first time. All right, well, let's now try to find one that's really nice landscape. Obviously, this is a pretty clean photo. This looks really great. Even these ones, I like the little bit of action that these give. Like that right there is a really nice photo. Both wearing Tevas here. Let's see. Oh yeah, these are the ultimate road trip shoes. Man, I really like these as well. They're a little less obvious, I think. You know, the other one is very much, you know, down at the end of the trail, looking out onto the water. But this is almost just like somebody taking in the view, and I really like that. This photo just really, I don't know, evokes a lot of happiness, at least for me, you know, and I think that's kind of one of the points of going back and doing an archive dive, you know, just looking at the old photos. This was such a fun trip, and just sitting there, I mean, obviously, you know, we're taking photos and in some cases we're posing, but we do sit and just kind of listen to the waves, watch what's happening, and those moments like are just, they're so incredible. So I kind of feel like for that reason, this is one of the photos that I want to choose. More moments of scale. This is like one of the more fun things to take photos of, in my opinion, when you're out there with, you know, a buddy or some friends, and you're just taking turns being each other's scale model, and, you know, running out to whatever vantage point, walking back and forth, making different poses, turning your head. That's all part of the fun. And I think with these two, you know, I'm just trying to find compositions and just, you know, playing around with placement, focus, composition, all that stuff. What is going on with this lighting now? Now I've got this. When did this show up? Okay, the lighting has changed for now the 3rd time. Actually, probably the whole video I haven't been looking over to my right. All right, let's find this last photo. This portrait to me is actually kind of cool. It's a little messy, but like, how often do you see this many sea stacks off the coast? So I feel like that adds like a really cool abstraction. Here's another photo that I just really like, and I feel like it's kind of unique too. I love to take the subject and use kind of a shallow depth of field and focus on what we're looking at. And it just, I don't know, adds some depth to the overall photo. You can kind of put yourself there in that moment. This is another photo that I really love. I love the angle from which I took the photo, the focal point being that amazing sea stack. I don't want to say the name of it. Also, you're just putting, you know, Derek right there, but blurred out on the side. And I'm kind of noticing going through these that's something that I do a lot, and it seems like I always hang somebody off to the right side of the photo, which is kind of funny because that's like my dominant hand. Yeah, it's really hard to pick one. I think this one's a great photo too. Like just walking back and forth, even this one, taking photos of the sea stack. There's they tell a story, you know, just in a singular photo. Wait, do we have some wildlife in these too? Let's check this out. Wait, is this kelp? This might just be kelp, but we definitely have some seals too. And this is why I'm not a wildlife photographer. I can never land focus. So we definitely have some photos to whittle down. Let's see where we're at currently. We have a total of 11 photos, and we just need one from each scene. Kind of want to tell a story. I know at the beginning I was saying that, you know, maybe we needed to mix in some landscapes and then some with people in the photos. And now looking back, I almost just want to include people in every photo. And I think that'll tell a pretty cool story. Okay, I've made my decision. Okay, so we have our 3 photos that we will be editing. They all feature somebody in a orange or red jacket, but it is not the same person in each of these photos. Derek, we've got him starring in the first 2, and then we have Alex in the second one. But yeah, I think this is a kind of fun collection of photos as an overall story, right? We're starting at the Oregon coast and then we go into the Oregon interior. Okay, so this first photo is a picture of Derek looking onto a rock formation on the Oregon coast. This second photo is Derek again looking on towards the sea stacks on the Oregon coast in a different location. And this last photo is a picture of Alex looking at a waterfall. These are the 3 photos, unedited. Now let's put on some music and let's jump into editing each of these. All right, so we have our 3 edited photos. I'm embarrassed to say that that took me a lot longer than I was planning to dedicate towards this. After looking back at all of these in a collection view, and I think I was trying to get them all to have the same feel. Some are a lot more vibrant than the other ones. You can't really change it too much. You don't want to heavily modify the photos, but let's look at the final photos. So here's that first photo on the Oregon coast. Here's that second photo on the Oregon coast, different location. And then here is the last photo on a waterfall in the Columbia River Gorge. So like I said before, these were a little bit more challenging. I was kind of messing around with the few Lightroom adjustments that I haven't used before that I see that are kind of new. I don't know how I feel about them fully just yet, but the final outcome of the photo I really like. With all that said, let's open up the wheel and let's give it another spin. Okay, we have the wheel up now. Let's give this thing a spin and let's see which collection we're editing next. Okay, 2021. This next one, in comparison to what we just did, is a very small collection. It's titled Glacier Quick Trip. So here is just a very quick overview of that Glacier Quick Trip. Obviously, as you can see, the collection is pretty small, but we'll dive into that more next time. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one.